Hi everyone, it's Ellen Marie King, and we are back with the Hunger Games Simulator. And again, I apologize for all the Photoshop images, or photo bucket, photo something. But I apologize for the little photo bucket thing because they're making it kind of difficult. I'll play with it a little bit more and hopefully be able to do it. It just takes a while to set up these videos, so when I do it, I just do little tweaks here and there. So sorry for the photo bucket. I'll fix it as soon as I can. But yeah, anyway, so let's get started and see where we are. So we are doing MASH, if you haven't guessed already, based off of the title and pictures, or pictures. So in District 1, we have Hawkeye and Margaret. In District 2, we have Corporal Maxwell and Radar. In District 3, we have Father Francis and Colonel Sherman. In District 4, we have Captain BJ and Lieutenant Kelly. In District 5, we have Major Charles and Major Frank Burns. In District 6, we have Igor and Trapper John. In District 7, we have Lieutenant Colonel Henry and Roy Goldman. In District 8, we have Lieutenant Ginger and Nurse Sheila. In District 9, we have Lieutenant Baker and Nurse Margie. In District 10, we have Sergeant Luther and Lieutenant Bigelow. In District 11, we have Nurse Joanne and Nurse Wilson. And finally, in District 12, we have Major Sidney and Captain Ugly John. Captain. Yeah, Captain. Okay, so let's get started and see who wins. Obviously, a lot of people won't know who MASH is because this was made in like the 70s, so it was just one of my favorites when it was free up. So I thought I'd go ahead and do it. Anyway, so the bloodbath. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Ugly John throws a knife into Wilson's chest. Well, that's cool. Right away, someone dies. Joanne runs away from the cornucopia. I mean, it's a military show, so military medical show. Most of these people know how to make people better. Margie takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. Trapper John, Sherman, and Bigelow work together to get as many supplies as possible. Father Francis rips a mace out of Captain BJ's hands. Ginger runs away with a lighter and some rope. Callie runs away from the cornucopia. Frank grabs a sword. Margaret runs away from the cornucopia. Baker snatches a pair of sais. Henry runs away from the cornucopia. Roy grabs a jar of fishing bait, while Igor gets fishing gear. Sidney runs away from the cornucopia. Luther grabs a backpack and retreats. Sheila runs away from the cornucopia. Maxwell runs away from the cornucopia. Hawkeye rips the mace out of Radar's hands. No, just don't hurt him, okay, Hawkeye? Charles runs away from the cornucopia. Trapper John questions the sanity. Margaret diverts Father Francis's attention and runs away. Igor tries to spear fish with a trident. Bigelow dies from an infection. Wow, you got infected so quickly. Sidney discovers a river. Hawkeye receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. She must have gotten injected before it all started. Roy runs away from Sheila. Joanne and Margie hunt for other tributes. Callie receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Luther kills Henry with a sickle. Well, Ugly John, Charles, Frank, and Sherman hunt for other tributes. Ginger discovers a cave. Maxwell thinks about home. Radar tries to sleep through the entire day. Captain BJ scares Baker off. 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Wilson, District 11. Bigelow, District 10. And Henry, District 7. Night 1. Radar thinks about winning. Margie screams for help. Callie stays awake all night. Roy, Sherman, and Frank get into a fight. Frank triumphantly kills them both. Wow. Ginger quietly hums. Luther fends Sidney, Maxwell, and Ugly John from his fire. Charles questions his sanity. Baker forces Hawkeye to kill Father Francis or Captain BJ. No, he decides to kill Father Francis. Oh man, I love Father Francis. Igor thinks about home. Trapper John tracks down and kills Margaret. Oh, come on. Margaret, seriously? You're like best friends with her. I think. It's been so long since I've seen it. Not too many people can hate me for it because no one knows what I'm talking about. Joanne falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Sheila receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Day 2. Margie goes hunting. Frank sprains his ankle running away from Baker. Radar throws a knife into Maxwell's chest. No, Maxwell! Dang it, Radar. Out of all the people he could have killed. Could have been down to you too. Come on. Igor sets an explosive off, killing Trapper John. Well, great. He's dying too. Hawkeye discovers a cave. Luther goes hunting. Sheila discovers a cave. Callie makes a wooden spear. Ugly John poisons Captain BJ's drink. He drinks it and dies. Well, Captain BJ's dying now. Man, they're dying fast. dropping like flies. Charles makes a slingshot. Sydney receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Ginger receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. You know, sometimes it takes people forever to die, but they're not wasting any time. They're just going for it. 8 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Roy, District 7. Sherman, District 3. Father Francis, District 3. Margaret, District 1. Joanne, District 11. Maxwell, District 2. Trapper John, District 6. And Captain BJ, District 4. Night 2. Ginger tends to Ugly John's wounds. Well, finally someone's being nice. Luther dies of dysentery. Just people are dropping like flies. Sydney starts a fire. Margie loses sight of where she is. Frank passes out from exhaustion. Charles defeats Igor in a fight, but spares his life. Well, finally, people are starting to be nice. Hawkeye and Radar huddle for warmth. Baker is awoken by nightmares. Sheila and Callie huddle for warmth. Well, at least people are being nice, finally. Day 3, Hawkeye practices his archery. Ugly John practices his archery. People are just like, I'm gonna just practice, I guess. Callie, Baker, and Sheila get into a fight. Baker triumphantly kills them both. Yay, I don't have to be confused by her name anymore. Sydney defeats Margie in a fight, but spares her life. Ginger makes a slingshot. Igor poisons Radar's drink, but mistakes it for his own and dies. Thank God, Radar didn't die. Frank receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Charles picks flowers. That's fascinating. 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Luther, District 10. Callie, District 4. Sheila, District 8. And Igor, District 6. Night 3. Hawkeye pins Ginger, Margie, and Sydney away from his fire. Ugly John receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Radar stays awake all night. First he sleeps through the day, and now he can't sleep at night. Frank is awoken by nightmares. Charles receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Baker is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. The feast. Oh no, the feast. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tributes' families. Margie, Charles, and Radar confront each other, but grab what they want slowly to avoid conflict. Radar's good. Ugly John falls into a pit and dies. You're not even going? You just fall into a pit? Frank shoots a poisonous blow dart into Hawkeye's neck, slowly killing him. No, Hawkeye, come on. Frank! No, you don't like him, but really? Baker decides not to go to the feast. Well, that is smart, Baker. Ginger stabs Sydney while his back is turned. Well, sad day for him. Maybe he should have paid more attention. Day 4. Margie, Baker, and Radar get into a fight. No, Radar's dead now, too. Baker triumphantly kills them both. Oh, and Margie died. I don't know her very well, but she's freaking adorable. Ginger thinks about home. Frank scares Charles off. Well, I guess I'm gonna root for freaking Frank now, since he's one of the only ones I know that are alive now. Ugly John, District 12. Hawkeye, District 1. Sydney, District 12. Margie, District 9. And Radar, District 2. Baker fends Ginger, Frank, and Charles away from her fire. Baker's like, I'm alone in this. Everyone's out to get me. I'll win. Frank hunts for other tributes. Charles injures himself. Well, you were just around each other. Why are you hunting for other tributes? Baker attacks Ginger, but she manages to escape. It's going to be a roundabout thing, isn't it? Because no cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Ginger sets up camp for the night. Frank defeats Baker in a fight, but spares her life. Yep, we're going to do a roundabout. Charles passes out from exhaustion. People died too fast at the beginning of this. And so now no one's going to die for like several days. Baker receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Charles practices his archery. Frank goes hunting. Ginger dies from hunger. Never mind, someone does. Maybe one person will die per day. Who knows? We'll see. Oh, well, now everyone's gonna die. A cloud of poisonous smoke starts to fill the arena. Frank survives. Baker sacrifices herself so Charles can get away. Oh wait, only one person died during the arena event. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Ginger, District 8, and Baker, District 9. Frank kills Charles for his supplies. Well then, the winner is Frank from District 5, so Frank won! Frank, I think, killed the most. Yes, sorry, Bob. Frank did kill the most, so Frank's the winner on everything. But yeah, so anyway, we have Frank the winner, and we only have one more episode left, and then we get to do the finale. Hopefully by then I figure out this picture thing, because it's driving me crazy. It's like, come on, people. Why can't we just use images from the internet? I don't know why they started restricting it. It's stupid. But yeah, anyway, I have several series that I have in the works that I am going to use for this channel, or for this series. But if anyone has any suggestions that they haven't seen yet, I'll write it down on my list, and eventually you will see it on here. So hopefully I see some, people that want to have some Hunger Games series going on. But yeah, anyway, hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye!